Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here with Sohal Katwani, and we're talking about accessibility today. Very topical at the moment. Why is that? And I guess going back a step, what is accessibility?
So thanks, Virgil. Accessibility is the process of making your website accessible to anybody, somebody with a disability or anyone has it. They should have equal access to your website, and that's simply what it is. It is important because the Australian government has mandated that all government websites or large government websites really have to be fully accessible with what we call as AA standards by December 2014. So there are worldwide accessible standards. AA is what we call as the WCAG AA standard, and all government websites need to be accessible by December 2000.
And probably some of the large corporates as well, just from being a good corporate citizen point of view, you really should be making your websites accessible. Would that be fair to say?
Definitely, it's important as well because there is the Human Rights Commission as well. If you are not providing equal access to all your customers, so yeah, definitely important for large organizations as well.
Great. Plenty of tools out there to help you understand what it's about. Do you want to mention some of the tools first before we get into some of the things we should be mindful of?
Sure, yeah. There are a lot of tools out there, as you said, exactly, but some that we more commonly would use is the Wave web accessibility tool. That's one that's you can put in your URL and you'll get a list of suggestions that you could do and improve your website. Color Checker is another one, so it can check the colors on your site to see whether there's any contrast errors, whether it's harder to read. There are other extensions for your Chrome browser and so forth, like Check My Links will make sure that none of the links are broken and so forth on your website. So there are a few of them that we use. For more advanced, we use SEO Power Suite. So that gives us a little more detailed analysis, more towards the SEO, which means the search engine optimization. But the concepts, remember, quite similar. Good descriptions for your images, and we'll talk about that.
And just to let people know, we will make a web page available, symphony3.com/accessibility, where we'll make some of these tools available. Just want to jump on to some of the things that people are going to go and use these tools or go and do an audit. What are some of the things they need to be mindful of on their website?
So before I actually give you some of the few things that you need to be mindful about, there are a lot more things, but if you had to break them down into the top 4 things, is images. So make sure you have alt attribute descriptions, meaning a description to your image. Make sure that you have checked the colors, so you have the right color contrast on your website. You may need to make some fonts darker or lighter.
So this is an issue for some councils and some organizations that have the wrong colors in their branding?
Yes, because when sometimes people with disability find it harder to read, or they may have a negative effect towards lighter colors, or make sure you have an option to change colors on your site, which is an easier way to look at it as well. Links, try and avoid the click here, read more. Imagine you had a list of blogs and all had read more. Makes it very hard for a person with a screen reader or someone with a disability to access it. Also, make sure you have the option to skip the navigation on top. That's another link that you'd put, which you could work with your web developer, and it makes it easy for a person with a screen reader to not have to load and read the whole page on top over again. Another thing you could do is look at your forms. So you want people to be able to submit forms on your website. Make sure that your forms validate, meaning they tell a person when there's an error with the form. And make sure that if you have a form label of first name and a box next to it to type into, that they both are associated with each other. So we call those as form labels. Those are just a few things that you should keep in mind to get started.
A few of many, I'm sure.
A few of many, yes.
So look, in terms of getting started, simple plan, what should people do? If their time's running out, they want to get started, they want to make sure they're accessible by the end of December, what should they do?
First thing to do definitely is audit your website, whether you do it yourself through one of the tools we mentioned or get someone else to do it for you. Audit your website, understand what issues are there and what can be easily fixed, and prioritize it into 3 different priorities. Probably the easiest to fix, or what you need to work on, and then what is good to do. So in some cases, as an example, you may realize that you have 100 technical documents on your website on PDFs which are not accessible. It may take time over to do that, so make sure you put that in the process of ongoing. but you may have images that just need descriptions that you can solve easier. So prioritize it and start from there.
Great. I think we'll leave it at that, Sahal. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
For those of you that are listening, symphony3.com/accessibility. You'll get links to some of the things we've talked about. So thank you very much.
Thanks everybody.